So, pretending. I'm gonna start with that. Pretending, being a phony, pretending to be deeper than what you really are. Super educated, super philosophical, um, entrenched in statistical data. It's insulting to me as a person that has went to school and isn't back in school again to watch commentary of a person talk and discuss about things that they honestly know nothing about. I'm going to take you down my educational um, background. I have two bachelor's degrees, I have two master's degrees, and I'm currently working on a PhD. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I have a master's degree in information technology. I have a master's degree in counseling and psychology. I'm currently back in school for professional counseling as a PhD. When I watch people get online on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, and post about things they literally know nothing about, it's insulting to me. I had to study statistics. That was a part of my study when I was getting my computer science degree, when I got my IT degree. I had to know statistics. While I was getting my psychology degree, you have to know statistics. That's a part of the brand. You have to know statistics. Doesn't matter which side of the computer side or human side, you have to know statistics. You have to know how to read data, how to understand it, what it means, how it breaks down, all that jazz. When I see people hop on social media and talk about different I guess I would categorize like stereotypical things, and then they try to make a comment about it without any statistical backing, without any real deep analysis. No real analysis is given. It's just a question. And my thing is, if you're posting it in an opinionated way, you're just making an opinionated statement. I would suggest going forward that that's what you do. You make it um, uh, an opinionated statement or an opinionated question. Because when you come forth with information and you try to project it as if it's factual, you kind of end up looking stupid. And you run the risk of people calling you stupid. And my thing is, of course, you're going to be automatically offended because the idea of calling somebody stupid is offensive to a certain degree. Don't be surprised when somebody posts something that they don't necessarily agree with you on, and then they make comments or they make statements that you deem to be disrespectful. Having an opinion about something is fine. I do it all the time. I always have an opinion about things, but I'm coming from 10 years of life coaching. I'm coming from 12 years of education in backgrounds of human life as well as computers. So when I'm coming forward with information, I promise you, you can research any of the stuff that I'm talking about. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, educate yourself. Because my thing is this: educating yourself can mean a multitude of things to different people. Here's what I mean by that. When I tell somebody to educate themselves, I'll simply say, "Hey, look at this article. Check out this article. Do this." I've only done this because they've never. This is never they. When people comment to me, they've never commented to me directly on a post. They comment to me in my inbox, and I will share statistical data with anybody that's ever come to me in my inbox and said, "Hey, LB, this is what I saw that you said. What statistical data have you did you find that this, and this? Okay, here's what I found. When you're building a brand or a base and you're putting your credibility out there, you need to be able to defend whatever it is that you're projecting off. Even if it is an opinion, you need to have some type of factual information to back up what you're talking about, and not just sit there and pretend like, oh golly gee, I'm so shocked and chagrined. Clutch pearls, I didn't know. If it's an opinion, state it as an opinion and say, oh, in my opinion, or this is my opinion. And I say that you can check any of my videos, and a lot of times I will say in my opinion, because it is my opinion. It may be steeped in some type of fact, but it's still just my opinion, because there may be varying opinions about whatever it is I'm discussing. Stop having these deep philosophical conversations about stuff you know nothing about. Because if somebody challenges you on it, which I've been known to do from time to time, it could put you in a position where you then start acting out of character. And what I mean by that is not that this particular character is not within you. It's just something you don't show all the time. And it may not be something you've shown online, and you don't want to start having to perpetuate this thing, this person that you really don't want to be. Having deep and philosophical conversations means that you've done some in-depth research about what it is you're talking about. I've looked at posts, I've read articles, I've seen people have conversations that are very deep, I've seen TED Talks, I watch YouTube. There are a lot of different varying opinions out there, and nothing wrong with having varying opinions. Opinions. But just understand that when you cross into the realm of psychology, I get quickly, my antennas go up, and I become very sensitive to that information. You start talking about the IT field, my antennas go up, and I become immediately like, okay, so what does this mean? What are they talking about? What statistical data do they have about this? When did this all happen? I don't remember this happening. So understanding it's not the fact that you're having a conversation about something that's deep or philosophical or, saturated in knowledge. It's the fact that when somebody asks you a question about, well, where did you get this from? This doesn't make any sense. What data do you have to back it up? You need to have some statistical data. You need to have some literature of some kind to talk about, because they're asking you, well, where's the evidence for this? Where's the information for this? What you're making a very bold statement without providing any real data for what they're asking for. Because in some aspect, you're trying to build credibility in the things that you're saying. So when you do give your opinion will be steeped in some type of factual information. Listen to people say things, talk about things, put things out there. It's fine. I'm all for free information. But what I'm not for, and this is coming from, again, from the educational side of me, is the fact that you put things out there and you make these arguments, I guess, for lack of better words, to stir a discussion. Again, discussion is great. Discussion is awesome. But the discussion needs to have some base, some premise, and factual information. And if you can't provide that, then you kind of end up being relegated to something that's not proper. And I don't think anybody deserves that. But when someone is asking you for further information as to how you came to this conclusion, you need to be prepared to present that information and not just say, oh, educate yourself on this. Open your mind to this. Because my thing is, when you bring in negative connotations, like different negative connotations into a conversation, into a discussion, you've already opened yourself up to something that you may not be able to defend, because it's like, oh, well, I just saw it and I thought it was interesting, so I just posted it. That's cool too. But make sure that when you post things like that, that you're able to say, okay, well, listen, I posted because it was interesting. I thought that, it would just stir a conversation. What are your thoughts on it? I'm not saying it to get to say that I agree or disagree. I just thought it was an interesting topic and I posted about it. If you want to handle it in a way where you actually don't have any statistical data on it, one of the persons I know that I'm friends with on Facebook posted something that was not a legitimate article. And I'm like, well, hey, do you know this like a not a legitimate article, right? Like it's not factual. It's not true. It didn't really happen. And the situation of it all was is like, well, no, it was about the comments, but it's she wanted the conversation to be about the comments, and it's fine. That's cool. But my thing is this: but you do realize that you're commenting on an article that's not true. So the comments below, it kind of is whatever because it's not really steeped in a real true article. It's just somebody commenting on something that's actually already fake. And then when I further point out that, hey, look, okay, I understand that the comments are interesting, but people feel this way all the time. P.S. By the way, it was about Trump stuff. Let me just be clear. It was all steeped in Trump stuff. Okay, so people, if you do any social media surfing, YouTube surfing, Instagram surfing, you subscribe to different channels, anything political wise, you will see that diehard Trump supporters have no filter at all. And that's the reason why I stand on what I stand on, because I sometimes don't have a filter in how I feel and how I present my thoughts and expressions. It's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. It's nothing wrong with putting yourself out there. It's nothing wrong with any of those things. The thing of it is that when you put yourself out there like that, you have to understand that there are going to be people who don't agree with you, who don't like what you're saying, who don't believe what you're saying is factually true, who feel like, oh well, I wonder why they say this. They must feel like this. They must feel like that. Understand what it is that you're talking about when you make this statement, because there are people like me who just kind of go, I don't think that's true. And you got some people like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Let me research further. But it depends on the person, and you have some people who take information in short spurts. It's just a thing. So having deep philosophical um, conversation is fine. I'm not a fan of people pretending to be something that they're not. I'm not a fan of people um, perpetuating this idea that they're this um, well-rounded individual who's been doing this for years. And like I said, it's very insulting to me to have done it, to have put in the work. Oh my gosh, to put in the work to be educated on statistics, to be educated on human life, human behavior, to be educated in the computer world. It's insulting. It's freaking insulting. If you sit there and you put in 12, 13 years of your life into going to school, and then somebody comes along and tries to pretend to be this legit person, it would piss you off. Especially if you really put in the work. I'm not talking about anybody that's out there pretending against another pretender. I'm talking about somebody that actually went out there and actually did the work. It's not easy. This life is not easy. There's nothing easy about life whatsoever. And to have somebody kind of spit on it and then just put on this guise of pretending as if nobody's gonna find you out. I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but I'm talking to somebody.